All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Christian Kuntz Podcast. I'm here with my boys Vinny and Trey. We got Jesse behind the board. We're joined by a very special guest, Cory Trice Jr. Everyone give it up for Cory. Cory, how you feeling today?
Good, man.
Good. How's the off so far?
Good, man. You know, first off season, feeling good. Ain't really got much to do, so.
I feel like last off season, obviously you were hurt. You got hurt your first rookie year. How was that? What's been the difference so far? I know we're kind of, fresh into this offseason, but what's been the difference so far, after you played this year, you finished, healthy, the difference in going into this offseason this year as opposed to last year where you were rehabbing? Mentality-wise, how you feel?
So mentality-wise, I feel way better. I'm in a way better space. Last year, I was learning how to run around this time, so that was a whole big thing. So now to be at this point where season over with, body feeling good, now I can just really focus on what I need to focus on.
Oh yeah. You've been through some shit. You've had some serious injuries, all through your college career. I'm not sure about high school. We'll tap into that, but talk about what it's been like since you got here in Pittsburgh. We devastated by, an injury in training camp your rookie year. But then you came back this year and you kind of fought back. What's it been like just battling through the adversity? Rookie year, you're a 7th round pick. I'm sure there were some thoughts going through your head about bro, they might cut me, they might injury settle me, whatever it may be. So talk about the adversity that you went through dealing with that.
Yeah. So first getting drafted 7th round. I had everybody at the crib, so
yeah.
All my family sat for all the days, all 3 days. So we were just waiting. So when I got my name called, they was excited, but I was kind of dang.
Yeah, you want to go early.
Yeah. So now I was okay, now it's time to prove myself. So then I get in, I see everybody cool around the locker room, talking to everybody, we all working out, and then we get to camp. So camp is okay, now
you were balling, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You had a good OTA.
Yeah,
you had a hell of an OTA. Yeah.
Yeah, I was balling then, making plays and just doing what I do. So then, like I said, camp had came around. And I was okay, now it's time to really, now it's time to show them what I'm really about. So then after that, it was I had got hurt. So then when I had got hurt, I'm oh shoot, I ain't know it felt I had messed up my other knee in college, but I didn't even know how I did it. I had finished practicing everything the first time, but this time,
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even know I did it. So, but this time it was painful though. So I'm man, I don't know what's going on, but something ain't right. So lay on the ground, knee, and then after that, I had got it checked up, and it was my ACL and all that type stuff. Then I was okay, I did this before, But then before all that, when it first happened, like you said, I'm oh man, I might get cut, or oh man, I don't know, what's about to go on. I ain't never, I don't got no foundation, so I don't know what's about to happen. But the coaches that came and talked to me, the players that came and chopped it up with me, and then after that, it was just okay, now I know I'm gonna be here next year.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna have a chance to prove myself, and I was shoot, I'm gonna feel bad for myself, this night. And then I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, and now it's time to move on from it. And that's what it really was, because I had been through it before. So I was okay, I've been before. I know which approach to take with it, and now I'm finna just rock out and see where it take me. And you seen where I was, last year around this time, just learning how to run, trying to hit certain numbers, trying to get my body back right, and yeah.
It's funny you say that, because Cory and I are here. I'm obviously here all off season because I live here, but a lot of guys go home whenever they vacation. Cory was here and he stays here, trains here. So I've seen the progression of, when he tore his ACL in camp to going through, all the whole season where you were on crutches.
Yeah.
You were still around the team, which is great, but and then for it to come back this year, and then I remember that game in Denver. Obviously, we'll talk about that, but. You got your first career pick, and I know we're pissed off that the 2-point conversion against the Chiefs didn't count. We talked about that.
Count my books.
we were talking to D-Jack about that, because we were like, those don't count. But it's been cool to see you, rehab and get back, because I did my ACL, back in college, and it ain't that That shit ain't fun, bro.
Nah, mentally it's different.
Yeah. So
it's different.
kudos to you on that.
So about how long do you think it took you mentally to say that you were back to you? Because I've also had my ACL. I did 3 ACLs, so I've had multiple surgeries, man. So I get it. But for most people, they say it takes you a year. Realistically, physically, you're back in like 6 to 7 months. But like mentally, bro, it's like a year and a half before you trust yourself. So like, I want to know how long it took you.
Yeah, did you feel good in camp, or like when did that hit?
Well, so like I said, this was my second time. So like my first time when that happened, it took me like, so I had my surgery around like October.
Okay.
I wasn't ready until like 2 weeks before my first game in college. Yeah, so I had missed like spring. I had missed camp. Like I only did like a week of camp, and then like my knee just started feeling better like 2 weeks before the game. And I went out, had the season I had, but like, I be doing stuff mentally, I be around the game. So, and like you done played the game so long, like certain stuff don't go away. You just gotta, get back in condition for real. So like, it took me about, like 11 months, like 10, 11 months for real to really feel like myself. But, when you going into the game, like no matter what it is, ain't nobody really caring for real. But this time, I'll say I really felt myself for real, felt like I was myself. It was around, it was like Buffalo. We had Buffalo, and we had that joint practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was getting like a lot of reps. I was, getting back to myself for real. And then after that, we had the preseason game, so I'm starting playing the game, and I'm starting to take some hits and stuff. I'm like, okay,
you still good.
Yeah. So like I'm like, okay, yeah. Like then I'm getting after the game soreness again. So I'm like, okay, there it go, and then it just started taking off from there.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. So what's like your process like in this? Because everybody has a plan of how they're going to react. You get injured, and then until it actually happens, like your world kind of comes crumbling down. Like, were you reaching out to people, or like people reaching out to you? Like, what's your like mental space in like trying to gain that back? And then on top of that, like, what would you tell like anybody that I was going to say a young guy, but it could really be anybody that gets an injury that like it's devastating. Like those are traumatic things. Like your body's not meant to just like go through some of those experiences. So like, what was your process like? And then like, what would you like share or shed some light to somebody going through that as well?
Yeah. So when I first tore my ACL in college, I was reaching out to people, people that was in the league, certain guys, just reaching out, but nobody had ever like reached back out to me though. So
never
I was like,
followed
okay.
up. Really?
Yeah. So I mean, but people in the league, like I'm a young guy, like they probably get like 1,000 DMs. Like I understand that.
Right.
So I'm like, boom. And then, but I had one of my homies on the team. His name was Antonio Stevens. He had a worse injury. And I seen him come back from what he had came back from. Yeah. I'm like, oh shoot! And so when I had tore my ACL, I had like a lot of guys around me that who had like been through like more worse stuff. Yeah. And I can like ask them things, and then I was reaching out to I was talking to a therapist and stuff, trying to
That's
find
awesome.
ways to keep my mind right mentally, basically like because during that time like you basically waiting for like 9 to like 12 months to like play the game again. So it's like you don't really want to spend all that time like beating yourself down for real. So I was reaching out a lot, So I definitely had like a lot of support around me. But I'll say like to somebody that's like, going through that or like that know somebody going through it, I'll say like you definitely should have like a good support around you.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out, ask for help and really just, and just find out who you really are, because the game is always it's bigger than football, so it teaches so many different things when you go through it because it's life. So you definitely gotta just pay attention to the lessons you're going through too.
Yeah, people don't realize the mental side of that. Like they see the injury on papers, torn ACL, which is in itself is terrible, but like I don't think anybody's considering the fact of how you probably feel every waking moment because now their distractions are gone. There's no football that you could get lost in and get in that flow state and do what you love. Now it's like. Some guys, like, you have to face the man in the mirror for the first time. Yeah. Like, now it's like, I'm sitting at home with this injury. And it changes real quick. And I've heard that story many times. So I think it's important to speak on it.
Yeah, and then it'd be crazy because, like, some people don't shake back, so.
Right.
And then, like, you got, some people be thinking about that. But, can't even really think about that, man. You gotta just think positive because,
Right.
you know, I was thinking a little negative. I say like my first ACL,
Yeah.
because it was just so unexpected. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was ready, you know, to go to the league. You know, I was graduating that year.
It's terrifying.
You know, I had a good first game, so I'm like, yeah, and I had like a little buzz around me. You know, like my coach and stuff was telling me, and then I had got hurt, so I'm like, oh man, so
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, but.
Yeah, kudos to you for not only like, you know, getting through it, but also reaching out too. I think,
for sure.
you know, as men, we like don't really do that much. It's not really glorified as much. So kudos to you.
So, hey man, when you try and get somewhere, man,
Yeah, whatever
all that
it takes.
pride stuff go out the window, man. You gotta ask for help.
Absolutely.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But one thing for sure, bro, I want to give you kudos as well because there was a time where me and this guy, we have another show called Athletic Aesthetic. And I ain't saying we snuck on the field, but we snuck on the fields.
Yeah.
But with that said, man, I noticed one thing about you, bro. I remember you crutching off the field, bro, and you were the only person.
We were there that day.
Yeah,
huh?
bro.
Yeah.
And you still had a smile on your face.
Yeah.
That right there, I was like, oh. Because I've been there.
I thought you meant we were there the day it happened. I was like, oh, I don't remember.
No. We weren't there that
Yeah,
day it
yeah, I
happened,
remember
but I
seeing
do
that.
remember
That's
seeing
true.
you on crutches. Yeah, and that
I
was
forgot
really
about
cool
that.
to see that, man, to see that you still had a smile on your face, bro, because when you hear from these guys and also guys like yourself, bro, talking about the NFL, right, like, it's almost like you guys almost have to, you live in somewhat of a fear of never knowing what's going to happen next,
Right.
right? So for you to still have that smile on your face after something so serious, it lets you know you got a hell of a lot of a mental maturity, man. So I want to commend you in that. For real.
What made
sure.
you stay in Pittsburgh during the off season?
Me. He wanted to work. He wanted to work out with me.
Is that part
No,
of why?
facts, yeah, my guy Kuntz, man.
Oh, you said me. I think you said his knee.
Oh no.
That makes sense.
No, but you know, I I'm like a routine guy, so you know, it worked for me last year. So you know, I like to put in, you know, the same grind and you know, add you know, whatever I need to add to it. But you know, I got a nice foundation here. You know, I got a decent little spot. You know, so you know, it's cool around here though. You know, yeah, it's quiet too, so I like it. And plus, you know, if I want to go somewhere like on the weekend or go somewhere, I can just you know take a trip or something. But you know, I like just being in the crib, playing a game. Go work out at the facility, come home, you know, same thing every day.
Having the facility at our leisure, like when you're here, you know, and having the strength coaches, the training staff, the coaches are still there. Like we're still in the building. It's nice just having like the comfortability of being able to go in the facility, get in the cold tub, get in the hot tub, get treatment if you want treatment.
You don't have to pay for none of that, right?
No.
How many of these guys are here right now?
A lot of guys go home like during this time, and which rightfully so. Like if you know, I'd probably come back to Pittsburgh if I was playing in a different city, you know, during home, see my family, hang out at home. So I could see why guys go home. But a lot of guys have places they train otherwise. But, you know, they might have to pay out of pocket as opposed to staying here training with our coaches and seeing them. But it's just all personal preference. Like there's dudes in the league that are like guys have been in the league for 15 years that haven't trained in the facility once. Yeah. So it's all personal preference. There's no right or wrong.
Right.
Just whatever you want. But
plus, I ain't grew up like with no trainers or nothing. So like I ain't really like got like no facility back at home that I can just go to for real. So like we ain't really got none of that where I'm from. So I ain't know like when I go home, I'm really just chilling for real. Or I gotta drive to Nashville or drive to Clarksville somewhere. That's like an hour and a half. And
just to train?
Yeah, just to work out. Get like the sauna, hot tub.
Yeah,
all that type stuff.
You might as well stay here.
I was gonna stay here, do all that.
I was gonna ask you about. I want to retrack a little now, going back to like starting off your story. What was it like growing up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky? And, I know you're close with your mom from being here, and getting to know you. So, I just want to talk about you growing up. Like, what was that like playing ball? Yeah. I'm sure you were probably playing every sport. I know you're a hooper too. You claim you're a hooper, so
boy, 6'4", he definitely a hooper.
Yeah, no, I know he can hoop. Yeah, I know, but I just like to give him shit. What was it like in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, growing up?
So growing up, with my mom,
Your sisters, yeah.
Yeah, so like it was on my mom's side, it was just me, my mom, my older brother, older sister. So I was the youngest. So yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, you get your ass.
So I was the youngest. Mom. I was running around. With all my family and stuff. I grew up with like a big family, so I didn't have like a lot of friends unless I was on like sports teams with you. You know what I'm saying? So Like I grew up with all my cousins. You know, we used to, you know, running around playing sports. You know, in the grass and the rocks and all that stuff. You know, so I never really trained really growing up. It was just like outside, just playing ball with the guys. So then, you know, but me growing up, I thought I was always going to the NBA. Like that's what it's been. Like my mom didn't even let me play football growing up. Like
That's crazy.
yeah. Like I was the youngest.
So you're actually a hooper.
Yeah. At heart, I really am. I really am deep down. So,
What position though? Like
Small forward.
That's the tricky thing.
He
Like,
thinks he's a point guard. I'm gonna tell you right now, he thinks he's a point.
listen. I was really a 1, you know, but on my high school teams, you know, everybody was good. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't the best guy. Like them boys was nice.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but in AAU, I was running the 1. You know what I'm saying? So like my coach, they run the 1, and we was good too. You know, I won a few championships. You know. So yeah, but you know,
what's your game though? Like, are you coming off the screen?
Yeah. Coming off the screen, getting to the rim, you know.
Okay.
I'm more so of a drive. I wasn't a shooter though. I wasn't like the best shooter. I ain't gonna lie.
All right.
I wasn't the best shooter.
That's
you
when
know.
you went to football, huh?
Yeah. At the top of the 1-2-2, so you know I can slide my feet a little bit.
Play some defense. That's why you
feel
play
me?
defense. I get it.
Crazy dunk.
Really just getting in where I fit in though in high school, because like I said, them boys are nice. And
But Jesse said you was dunking though, right?
Were you crazy dunking?
Nah, I wasn't crazy dunking,
Nah?
but
Or
yeah,
you
on
being
the
humble?
fast break I'm dunking though.
Yeah, I was gonna say you being a little humble though.
It's definitely a few clips out there of me dunking though. I got some.
I bet there
I got
is.
some in the vault, you know.
Hey, Christian, have you ever dunked in a game?
I'm 0 for 1. I did try. It was actually in an all-star game. I tried. I had a fast break. It hit. I got up above the rim.
Yeah.
Like don't disrespect. like I got up above. You know how like if you go throw it down, like you try to like throw. You try to flush it.
You trying to break the rim.
Yeah, I was trying to flush it.
Could you imagine
rim
if Chris,
It hit the back of the
I've
rim
done that, yeah.
and shot up past half court, and then I got benched.
Could you imagine if
They're like,
Christian
get out.
had John Morant dunk? Like he had his John Morant
That'd be
dunk
crazy.
package, just able to. Oh my god!
I couldn't imagine you dunking like that, bro.
Listen, I used to be able to dunk. I got some videos on my phone. I'll show you.
you feel me? Like,
It might have been like 8 years ago or something, but I used to be
You
able
gotta
to
always
fly.
have it in the vault, bro. You gotta
Yeah,
always have it, man.
I got the dunks on here. Every single one I got from practice on there. But take me to like high school now. You're into high school. I saw you won, state player of the year.
Yeah.
How was your high school, recruitment process like? I mean, you won state player of the year. You ended up at Purdue. Did you have any other offers, and like how did that all play out? High school.
Yeah, so high school, I really wasn't even like into the football thing really for real yet. Like
What the hell?
I was still into like basketball for real. So I got my first offer like my junior year, and then but I was like obviously I had a good sophomore year and a good freshman year, but once I started getting offered, and I'm like, okay, this definitely gonna be the way out, because my homie's scoring like 40, 50 points, and I'm scoring like 15, 20s, and I ain't getting no offers, and they ain't really. So I'm just putting the map together. I'm like, okay, so this football thing gonna be it. So then, my coach was recruiting 2 of my cousins that was they was a year ahead of me.
Okay.
He was at Western Kentucky, Jeff Brown. So he had came to a game, and he had ended up seeing me, but he ended up going to Purdue after that from Western.
Oh wow.
So then he ended up offering them. They went there, and then I was like, okay, they going there, I'm going there. Like I ain't never been to college. I never even thought about college. Like the only thing I knew was just like sports. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, and then you end up at Purdue,
Yeah.
which is a pretty fucking prestigious school.
Yeah, and that's how my mom was thinking about it. She's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like the degree there. I'm like, the degree there, but I'm just going there because my cousin's going there, honestly, and I get to play ball. Like, I don't even know, like, so yeah. So I get to Purdue, but I came in as a safety, so I played safety my whole my whole high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was a safety. So I my first year, I didn't play. I had redshirted. The second year, I had switched to corner the second week of camp. So you switching second week of camp, it's like,
man.
yeah, it's like, okay, now it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Especially switching from safety
Yeah.
to corner as opposed to going like corner to safety is
Yeah.
a lot
bro.
easier,
Yeah.
right? Like safety to corner's got to be
You just
tough.
got put on
Yeah.
an island.
Right, yeah. So I'm like, but I always been good like a man coverage. So I'm like, okay, cool. First day of practice, I got a pick. So I'm like, okay, yeah, bet. Like, okay, that's what I like. So then But what's crazy, it was my cousin and one of my best friends on the team playing in front of me. So I already knew what I was going into, and I'm like, dang, and we hang out every day too.
Yeah.
So then I eventually end up getting a chance against Penn State. Played a good game, and then the next game I had a pick. I had 2 picks and a pick 6, and then it was against Maryland. That was my my redshirt freshman year, and then that's when I knew I was like, okay, I got a chance to go to the league.
That's crazy.
And then I'm looking at Richard Sherman, looking at all the big corners after that, and then
You got hurt.
No. Then after that, so I finished that year, and then it was COVID after that, so we didn't have that many games.
Wow.
That year went by. That wasn't really much.
That was a terrible year.
The next year, next year come around, I'm like, yeah, this gonna be the year. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm graduating, and then I'm like graduating, going to the league. Like that's the plan.
Right.
So then after that, then I had a good first game. I'm like, oh yeah, this it. Like then the second game, we blew out somebody so bad I didn't even play the second quarter. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And then we finna play Notre Dame, and then I'm in practice, and then I end up I ended up tweaking my ankle in practice. So I'm like, okay, boom, I'm out for 2 weeks. Then I was supposed to be out a little early, but I'm like, boom, I'm coming back early. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this the year.
Right.
First day of practice, I felt something in my knee. I'm like, oh shit, what's that? On the same side though. I'm like, oh shit, what's that? But the whole time favoring my ankle, and I ended up messing up my knee.
And that's the time you didn't even really know until after. So how did you eventually say, like, something's not right? Were you walking around campus? Like, did it eventually become, like, just uncomfortable?
Did it start clicking?
No. So I remember the rep that it had happened. Okay. I felt the tweet. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm good. So then I did another rep. I'm like, yeah, I'm straight. So then the trainer put like some little tiger bomb on it. You know how it is when you're in a moment, bro. Like you ain't finna. I'm like, boom. But that was my first practice back. And then so then I did another rep, and then I finished practice feeling good, running around. They checked my knee after. I was like, oh man, just a little, you know. But we'll check how it is in the morning, getting the cold tub. Got in the cold tub. Woke up next day, I'm like, it's like, oh, it's feeling weird. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Damn.
But I finished practice, so I'm like, yeah, ain't nothing going on. And then they was like, oh, you want to get an MRI? I'm like, no, I ain't get one. I'm playing this week. Like, then when nothing changed, you know, like my knee wasn't going down, so then I got one. It was like, yeah, it's torn.
And you didn't even know?
Didn't even know.
Was it fully torn or partial?
I don't even know. They just said it was torn. I just know I had to get surgery, and it was, yeah.
Can't you just take them out? I mean, Peyton Wilson doesn't even have one, dude, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, Peyton's story's crazy. He was at the combine, and they just straight up came into the room. And we don't know how the combine works, but I guess the doctors came in and they were like, "Yeah, you don't got an ACL in your left knee." He's like, "That's impossible. I got, I had surgery on that knee."
Yeah. You definitely go through so many tests in the combine. They gon', they probably,
Yeah, I bet you got the works in the combine.
Yeah, I was in there. I missed my interviews.
We were gonna go. I was gonna go there anyway. What do you mean you missed your interviews?
So you get interviews, like people interview you, but I was in the medical for so long.
They were just checking your knees, everything.
Yeah.
But there was a whole year in between that, right? So you got hurt, and then you came back again?
Then I came back after that year.
Yeah.
That was 2022, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I came back that year, and that's the year. And then I got drafted.
Fully healthy that year.
Yeah.
Then you get drafted. But there was some stuff with the draft, too, right? Like, you were projected to go maybe, like, third round.
I thought I was going top, not gonna lie. Like, at least, like second through like fourth, fifth. No cap.
So talk about that. Like, what does it feel like to slide that far, bro? Because I know that's tough, man. Like, when you see that, you got your family around. Like, that's hard to tell them and try to explain to them. You understand what it means now, but like for them, they have no idea. They just know you in the draft, right? So talk about that a little bit.
Man, so really, it's just like, man, so you just see like a lot of guys going, and it's like, man, like, yeah, you happy for them, you know what I'm saying? I'm always happy for everybody, but of course it's going to just put a chip on your shoulder because, that's just basically saying like that they better than you. And that's always like the mindset I'm going into something like, okay, so I got to prove myself. Like, it's always been that. And, having my fam around, like, they were just happy that I always like had a chance even going. Like, they didn't even care. Like, if I went first round or seventh round, the celebration was going to be the same. Like, even if I didn't even get drafted, like they was there every day. It was like a party every day. And then, you know, I got one of my big cousins, he playing around, act like they calling my name, but I know they gotta call me first. So he just joking around. Like, I'm already knowing he's joking.
Like that,
yeah,
that's crazy.
But I already know that they gotta call
funny,
first. He don't know that though. So he just trolling and stuff. But man, it was just crazy. So when I had got the call, man, you know, everybody was just so happy, and you know, everybody pulled up on me, you know, because I was at home, so like the whole city almost like just pulled up on me, you know. It was so many Steelers fans I didn't even know. People had jerseys, all type of terrible towels. Like,
I love that.
yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
It was
In
just
Kentucky?
love. Yeah, in Kentucky. Yeah.
That gave me chills a little bit. There's Steelers fans everywhere. We
Yeah.
know now. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about it so much when we travel. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That is sweet. Who gave you? Who called you from the Steelers?
It was I think it was Omar.
Omar.
Yeah, it was Omar. Then it was Coach T. Then I talked to Mr. Rooney. Yeah. And then and I was on the phone, and I was getting a call from like another team. I forgot who it was, and I was telling them like, such and such calling me. They're like, nah, don't even answer that. Like, we finna put this slip in. Like,
We're drafting you.
Yeah, we drafted.
For real?
Yeah. So I was like, bet, let's go.
That's kind of crazy how that works. Like,
yeah.
They don't know that you're being drafted. Another team's calling you.
Yeah.
And you're being told don't even answer. We put the slip in.
And I'm like, hold up, like they might about to take me, like. And then during the draft, man, like I'm getting like other calls too. I'm thinking I'm finna get drafted. My phone ringing. It's another team. They just talking about, we might take you, this and that. But my family running up recording. So I'm like, oh man. I'm like, man, y'all chill. Like, I'm gonna let y'all know. Like, but they were just excited though. So I was trying not to be that guy that always like that make it like, you know, but because they were just happy for me. And they just, you know, we ain't never been there before. Like, we ain't know what to expect. So, you know, man, it's all great, man. You know.
How'd you feel about, you know, getting drafted here with Joey? You know, Joey went essentially in the first round. He went 31st overall, I think.
32nd overall?
31st, 32nd, whatever. But it was second round, but it was essentially first round. But what was it like, you know, getting drafted with Joey, you know, and take me before you even met Joey. Obviously, you guys are boys now, but, like, before you played against him in the Big Ten and you were talking about, like, you know, all the corners that got drafted before, I'm sure you know every fucking one of them. And you're probably, like, on a list, like, no, I'm better. But, like, Joey getting drafted – first round, second round, and then you come around and get drafted, two tall-ass corners. Like, what was going through your tall physical corners? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, so
like, damn, we about to be a duo.
Yeah,
fuck this shit up.
So whenever it first happened, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, they just drafted the corner, so I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I know we had like Pat P. Or we had somebody.
We had Pat P.
Yeah, so I don't really know about the league, about contracts and all that type of stuff, and who gonna be here or any of that. So only thing I know is, oh shoot, he got drafted, and I got drafted too. So I know anytime I step on that field, it got to be like I got to make plays. Like I got to show them that I belong here because they literally got somebody who they drafted. So it's like, okay, like
higher than you.
Yeah, so it's like they gonna be expecting him to make plays. I'm about to be making plays. So we both gonna be making plays, and like we got the same build. So then when I had got here, and then I realized like he was a cool guy. Like everybody's just a cool guy. And then man, ever since then, man, we just been like sharing knowledge and just been grinding, man. It just been all love, and we just been talking about, you know, stepping on that field together and just, you know, really rocking out.
Yeah. It's probably been, you know, cool to kind of go through that with a guy in the same position as you, because I feel like when guys get drafted in the league, you know, there's only 7 draft picks. Sometimes teams have more or less whatever composite picks, whatever it is. But to have a guy in the same position room to go through that, like rookie meetings, the financial meetings that you got to go through, all the bullshit, not bullshit, but all the like mandatory stuff that rookies got to go to. Like at least you're doing that with, you know, Joey, who's same position, same grind as you. So it's actually pretty cool.
No, it definitely was cool, man, because, you know, it didn't matter, like, first and 7th round, like, we all had to go through this. Yeah, we all had to go through the same thing. Like you said, the same meetings, the same, same practice, like, everything the same thing for us. So, yeah, it really don't matter how you get there, man. Like, once you get there, man, you got a chance. So.
Yeah, you got a chance.
Is there a part of you that's like, you kind of like the fact that you got drafted where you drafted? Like, the fact is, you know, you thought you were going to be like maybe higher. Is there a part of you that's like, you know what, like this does light a fire under my ass? Like, and I'm going to show them like that, because that's a cooler story, right?
Oh, yeah, facts.
Number 1 overall, it's like, you almost get expected to do that. But now going in the 7th or, you know, wherever, it's like, oh, they didn't even know what they were getting, so now I'm gonna show them. So is that a part of your story?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it, man, because
Cool. I like that.
I definitely wanted to go higher.
Of course.
But now it's like, okay, now people don't even expect nothing out of me.
Yeah.
And now like everything I'm doing, people just be so shocked and amazed.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you just watch like my college film, like I've been making plays,
Yeah,
like I've been doing stuff, but like it's like if you don't really watch film for real, like you really don't know what's going on. So I'm like, that's why I always be like, yeah, like, you know, I went 7th round and now I can make this story like however I want it. Like
Right.
like I can be like I'm going to be like one of the top corners in the league one of these days. So soon, and it's like, okay, boom, I'm finna just, you know, I started off 7th round. Now it's finna be one of those stories where he became whatever he wanted to be. So
do you look up to guys like that? Like there's, you know, AB went real, like, you know, he went real low. You got guys like John Randall that was like undrafted and ends up being a Hall of Famer. Is it like part of you like start, you know, looking into that, or you just like, I'm just showing up, I'm a ball out?
Nah, not really, cause like I ain't grow up watching football for real. Like it wasn't.
You
like,
just walk anywhere and like ball out. You just ball out anywhere.
He didn't want to play for real. He just got there, like, I'm ready.
So like
That's such a flex.
like I really didn't grow up watching it. I always watched like the Super Bowls and stuff like that. Like my mom always had Super Bowl parties and stuff. But like I never really grew up watching, so like I never really knew people's stories until like
well,
I
there's
go
no
along.
local team where you grew up, right? What would be the closest team?
Nashville
Tennessee?
Titans. Titans.
Yeah.
So like, but like my uncle, they Cowboy fans, and so like I never really had a team. Like I grew up hooping, so it was straight like Kobe. So I always had that type mentality. That's really just what it be.
Yeah,
like.
that translates.
That
translates.
Hooper on the
really
football field. You should have been a receiver. You're a hooper.
I wanted to ask real quick too. Like, did you have when going into the league? Did you have, or just even when you started off real young? Were you, because you always hear the transition to cornerbacks, right? It's usually started off as a wide receiver, and your case is safety. Like when you put on the pads, were you like, I want to be a wide receiver, or did you say I want to be, you know, defending the football? Like, what was your, what was like out the gate? What were you thinking on that?
When you talking about like
just like when you got started in the football, like when you first put on the pads.
I was running back. Yeah, I need
running
to rock.
back.
Yeah, I'm scoring like every time I touch
6'4" running back.
Yeah.
God damn.
It was running back growing up for sure. It was always running back, and then
bro, you're big as shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't always big though.
Bro,
I had a growth spurt late.
Like when you stand up next to something, like you're tall as fuck.
Yeah, and I don't even be feeling like it. Like I don't even be like
you're tall,
thinking about it, bro.
It's crazy.
But how late did you hit that growth spurt?
Yeah, like
it was like my sophomore, junior year. Yeah.
God.
Bro, like
damn.
I'd be mad as shit if I'm on his team, bro. I'm like, when the hell did you go?
How the hell did you get there?
Yeah. So like it was crazy though.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I never really like look into the like people's stories though. Like I do now. Like I see like, you know, everybody, and I realize everybody be having their own path to the league though.
Yeah,
so
bro.
And they're the best stories, bro.
Yeah,
they're the best ones.
Because it was one time I was training for the combine, and I had ran into Okuda. The cornerback, I think Jeff Okuda. And he was just telling me like one thing about it, just ain't no blueprint to the league.
Right.
Like ain't no blueprint. Like everybody got their own path. And that just kind of stuck with me. And that's really what it is though. Like everybody got their own path.
Yeah.
That's so true.
You can make your own story for sure. No, I love that.
Talk about, obviously we got the impression you were a hooper. When did like you start working on football technique, like playing corner? Because I feel like a lot of people think playing corner is like go out there and follow that man. Like obviously not how hard could it be, because it's probably, I call it the second hardest job I think on a football field behind quarterback, corner.
Sure.
But like when did you really start to like tone in on your technique and like be like, okay, I'm athletic, I'm fast, I'm tall, but like my technique is what takes me. Because I always talk about technique, because I feel like people just think we go out there and we just play. Like they have no idea the work that's put into it. So when did you start working on like corner technique, hand placement, all that stuff, eyes, where your eyes are supposed to be?
Man, so
or did you really start refining that when you got to the pros? Like, okay, I need to lock in on this shit.
No, it's not even that. So I had like 4 different like position coaches in college. So like I never had just like one specific technique to learn. So it was always switching up every year. Sometimes it was switching up like every week.
Yeah.
You know, I had to switch up technique. So but it was like my last 2 years in college, Coach E had came, Ron English. He had came. He became the safeties coach for the team, and he was like, he sat me down and he was like, look, man, you can go to the league. Like, you got all the tangibles. Like, you big, you fast, you can run, you can hit. Like, you do everything and like, you tall. He was like, but you got to have some technique. Like, only thing if you watch all my old film, I'm just out there just playing ball. Yeah, but he was like, you got to have technique. Like, I'm learning how to play press man. He was like, you going to, like, learn how to push step and you going to learn how to use your hands. So then that year went on, but then I got hurt that year. So then the next year is when I had another coach, Coach Y, Ashton Ubodi. He had played in the league a few years, and he taught me really how to like play the position like corner, like because he actually played it.
Yeah.
Like he taught me like literally how to like hand placement, how to like even like shoot my hand, like my feet and everything. Like he really taught me how to play it, like far as the drills and everything to like do to like help you with the position, and it just took off from there, man. Like he really taught me how to play it, and it taught me. And it took me getting beat a few times to learn it.
Well, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. You know, like you're gonna get beat. It's about the corners that. After getting beat, it's like, okay, are they going to make a play later in the game? Or are they going to keep getting beat?
I think one of the more fascinating techniques, because, I love those stories where, especially you, like, not growing up, knowing ball that well, like, there's a whole world of, like, techniques that you have to learn. But I think the most interesting one, especially for corners, is the ability to read the receiver's eyes. Like, is that something that, like, you focus on or whatever? Because that could be a make or break, because you're playing to their, you got your back to the quarterback and, most of the time. And now you're watching the motions in the receiver's game is to not let you know that the ball's coming. Like, is that something you focus on? I don't hear a lot of guys talking about that. So, man, is there anything in that?
So when I'm out there, I'm not even looking at the receiver eyes.
So you, okay,
I don't even look at their eyes not at all, for real. Especially, like, when I'm in man coverage. Like,
didn't do the hands.
If you look at their eyes, you toast for real.
Okay, so you're watching hands. Okay, so that's a misconception.
Yeah, because, like, they do so much. So, like, I look at more, like, the waist and stuff like that.
Okay.
You can't really move without that.
Okay.
But,
who's been your hardest cover? Like, in the pros so far that you've matched up against?
Cincy game.
Yeah.
Cincy game. Yeah,
he's tough. Yeah.
He's
pretty good.
It was just more so. I wasn't getting my head around like on the go ball. I didn't just get my head around.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was just on the slant. You feel me? They threw it to the ground. You feel me? Still caught it.
Good catch there.
But then on the slant, on the touchdown, it was just first drive, man. I gotta, I can't warm up to it like Coach C always say. Like after that first drive though, settled in and yeah.
That's the one thing I feel like you have to have, like, that memory of a quarterback and a DB kind of have the same type of mindset where, like, you can't really think about the last play.
Oh yeah, you can't.
You know what I mean? Because that DB, bro, you're running backwards. Let's start there. Then you're running against a bunch of speedsters, right? Like real guys who run full speed going forward, and you're going backward.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the one thing I always felt. It was so disrespectful for fans to call out DB, because I'm like, bro, you're talking about a position that, like, you're legitimately running as fast as you can,
so hard,
while either A, not looking because you're looking at him, right? Because as a receiver, I know my point, right? I got to get from A to B. I know where I'm going. You don't have any idea where I'm going, right? So then on top of that, right, now I got to keep up with this fast motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then Jamar Chase, like, he's not no slouch. And that's the one time I tell these guys all the time, I'm terrible at being a fan. And then I start asking people around me, like, real football questions. Like, okay, so what type of coverage was he in when that happened? That might not even be him.
This thing I don't be trying to, like, get into for real, because, like, man, people are like, if you don't know ball, man, I ain't finna explain it for real. Like, if you don't really know what's going on, I'm gonna waste my time. Like, people gonna believe what they believe on the internet. Like, it'd be funny though, man.
Explain this to me then. This little coverage. What did you see when that transpired in Denver when you got your first career pick? We were in like a 3 deep. Yeah. You were in that back corner. Did you see a late crosser coming and you kind of peeled off?
Yeah. So that was it was one of them eyes on the quarterback defense.
We ran that play in practice. Yeah. Did you pick it in practice, or you tipped it in practice in the back of the end zone? I think I remember, or something.
No, I think I did tip it. But so I had seen the quarterback. He was looking like towards the backside, and we was talking about that play in the week and stuff like that. And I had seen TJ end up taking somebody in the flat, so I was just free, honestly, and I was able just to free up and find some work. And I always been like a ball hawk, so I'm always gonna find a ball and shoot. I'm like, hold up, like he looking at something over here. He thinks something open. Yeah,
he come across.
Yeah,
he's
and
looking that way.
Exactly. And I seen what he was looking at, and I seen where Mink was. I seen where he was hanging off, and I'm like, okay. Then he just threw it. He threw it blind though. Like he didn't even know I was gonna do that. So that was just one of those. Yeah.
Did you keep the ball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the one from the Chiefs. Got that one. What? Yeah. That. Yeah.
That one sucks though because it's
Yeah.
not on the
No,
it's not on the
facts, though.
official report, but that's off
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it from my
Yeah.
homie.
You want to keep that way, especially we talked to Beanie. We had Beanie on.
Yeah.
Beanie kept his balls from A-Rod.
Yeah.
That is funny though.
No, definitely, man. I had to keep it. That's Mahomes, man. I was playing on Christmas. That's what I dreamed of. It was crazy.
Yeah,
like,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? Like, what are your goals going into this next season? Like, are you fired up about that? I'm already I'm already like, I'm watching these games. I'm like, bro, what do we got to do? Like, how do we get there? I'm already like, now I'm like trying to talk myself into like snapping already. I'm like, I should get back to get back to like practicing right now.
I'm with it though. That's how I am.
I gotta like, we talk about it all the time. We gotta like pump the brakes a little.
Yeah.
It's still January. I'm like,
Yeah, are y'all in like the off season, like just like messaging each other, like let's go? Like, how does that work? Because I know y'all are like it's not like high school football or college football. Like y'all are all grown, kids and lives and stuff. So like, what does that look like? Y'all like. I'm sure you have your maybe sections like where, you might be talking to DBs and, special teams for you or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, are you guys like talking like, yo, like, let's get after this, like games playing, you guys have that type of communication? Maybe not just because you like,
I
you'll have lives.
I wouldn't say like pro guys like text like
That's
that.
what I
Like we
thought.
all,
Yeah,
when we get in
I was
there,
just
everyone
curious.
knows like, dude, guys just want to win.
Right,
Like, that's
right.
all. Like when you lose and you hear it from the fans and you're getting backlash from coaches and everyone else from, that sucks. So no one wants that. Like everybody in there wants to win. It's not. No one has to motivate anybody. I don't feel like if you got to motivate somebody in the NFL locker room, his ass
you're
don't
done.
belong in
Yeah,
there.
you're done.
You know what I mean? Like, what is he doing in there anyway?
Right,
So,
You guys played both teams in the Super Bowl. Which one do you think is going to come out on top?
Wow, great question.
That's a great question, B.
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going against 15. I think
Team.
Philly's an unbelievable. I think both teams are. I think they're the two best teams in the league, and I just can't. I can't say I'm going to go against Mahomes.
Yeah, I
that
can't.
dude's a
How can
wizard,
you?
bro.
I agree.
I don't know, dude.
I
I think
agree.
Saquon is a
Deep, bro. Listen, he's
whole,
different right now.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
new level.
But people forget the Chiefs' defense is like
Elite.
They're elite.
Mhm.
Like,
They got some hitters.
bro, they got some good.
It's-
Chris Jones, the corner they have, McDuffie.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some ball. Bolton, the linebacker's tough. Carfilitis, the
Yeah.
edge rusher.
Yeah,
I think it's
Purdue,
gonna be a
man. My
recap.
guy from Purdue.
Is he, he's from Purdue? He's
Yeah.
Greek. Is he Greek?
Yeah.
he got a Greek last name.
Yeah, my
Yes,
guy
that's gonna be
George,
interesting.
man.
It's gonna be interesting. I do see like, let's go back to when they played 2 years ago. Correct? It was 2 years,
Yeah.
right? 2 years ago, but that was a burner. Honestly, if they gave Jalen Hurts the ball back, I don't know if they would have won. You know what I mean? I think Andy Reid just played it smart of just holding the ball.
He
But,
did, for sure.
So like
Yeah.
in that situation, like I'm curious to see this year because Jalen Hurts is beat up. You know what I mean? Mahomes is a little bit beat up, but he's still Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. Mahomes is Mahomes. But like Saquon is balling right now. Like
His story's crazy with that whole like just kind of getting, passed by on the Giants. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
fact that
crazy.
they
A
let him
record,
go
like,
to another
yeah.
division
Yeah.
team is
I'm surprised somebody didn't get fired immediately.
that's negligence.
yeah, and the hard knocks of them literally being like, I'd really hate to see him go to the Eagles.
Bro, wait,
Could
and
you
bro,
imagine?
they
Oh my
the hard
God.
knock stuff
that's
like has to be, approved by the team to air.
Right.
Why would they air that?
I don't
Why
know.
would they air that?
That
I
was dumb.
don't
That's a good point.
Like
Yeah.
it has to be approved by
Yeah,
either
why
the
would
head
they-
coach, GM, or whoever.
It's just
They
negligence.
looking for any
like,
notoriety they can get.
That
right
is
now.
bad notoriety. That is bad. That's
I'd
bad.
like to
Yeah.
see the stuff they didn't.
yeah, true.
Like, is that what you let get through? Then
Yeah.
what did you not let get through?
And they're like laying on a couch and talking about it. It was just like
It's
the
like
most
chilling.
like this is what it looks like behind the scenes for Saquon
For
Barkley.
the best runner, yeah.
Holy
His
shit.
value went up again.
Yes,
he
yes.
just raised the running back.
So I love it, man.
market.
You just keep proving yourself, man.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta keep doing.
Yeah, how'd you guys feel about that? Like with the whole the dip, all of a sudden, it's just the craziest thing. Like I think in our generations, I think we could speak that like running back was the position. Most kids growing up were like, I want to be a running back. You know, you had the list of guys, the LT and Adrian Petersons and stuff. But then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, it's like dudes are going for like 10 to 12 mil, and it's the best backs in the league. And the two guys that were the number one rushers this year were Henry and Barkley, and they both went for nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing in comparison. But like, what's that shift look like to you guys? Like,
I think it's coming back.
Is it just a pendulum effect, you know?
Dude, I don't really know, honestly. Like, I don't know, because we're all seeing the same thing as the front office is seeing. Obviously,
they're making up numbers.
Yeah, I feel like
they're doing the same as us.
The owners set those numbers, and like
crazy.
I don't know how true this is, but I think that the owners kind of collude on
100%
how much they're going to pay a position.
Yes.
So like when Cleveland, paid Deshaun,
there were guys pissed about
what he got.
Yep.
The other owners were probably, and I'm speaking from myself. I can't speak on how they feel, but I can imagine that other owners were probably like, dude, I can't believe they just gave him that much money. Now we're going to have to give our quarterback that much money.
Right.
Yep.
It's like we got to the owners almost have to work together to collaborate on the salary cap and what they're going to pay each position, because it could get out of hand.
Right.
Obviously, baseball is like
ridiculous,
outlandish, but that's
Juan
baseball.
Soto.
Yeah.
See, I want to know, because this guy over here, bro, like literally just picked up the rock and was like, yeah, I'm going to the league.
Yeah.
It's like that is crazy to me, bro.
It's really my homies though. Like all my homies play ball though. Like they all play football. So it's like, shoot, they playing, I'm playing.
Question. Are your homies in the league right now?
Nah.
So how the hell did a guy who was just like, I'll just try it?
Man, I don't know, man. Just grind, man. I just grinding, man. I don't even know, man. It's crazy. Football done took me so many places, man.
Have you reflected on that? Like, do you even realize you're in the league right now? Like do you even have any recollection?
Sometimes I don't.
Man,
you know what you're doing?
Nah, not really, man. I just be so
That's so
caught up
crazy.
in it, man. Be caught up in the grind, trying to make sure, stay here, make sure I belong here.
Yeah.
So, man, you really don't
That's why you're going to ball out.
Yeah.
Good
What's
show,
the city
man.
like for you, though? Like, you love the city?
Yeah, Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, man. Smooth, man. It's really what you make it for real. It's, quiet, calm, and, you can go out if you want to. It's really everything you want to be.
The fans, you get some love from the fans?
Oh, yeah, man. I love the fans, man. The fans show love, man. Fans show love.
The fans
for
of
sure.
Pittsburgh are legit.
They solid.
We talk about that
They
with
solid.
all the guests. It was cool talking to like D-Jack and guys that came from other teams.
Yeah.
Like obviously D-Jack came from Carolina, but even like other guys we've had on from other teams are like, it's a bit different. It's a bit different here. Like they
renegade, baby.
Yeah,
I love it, man. That's why you gotta make sure, man. You gotta perform, man. That's why I love it here.
Yeah, you gotta perform.
They gonna let you know.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. They gonna let you know. I love it, man. I love it.
They gonna let you know for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Cory, I appreciate you coming in. Boys, thank you as always. This wraps up episode 29. Wow, 29.
How do you feel, big dog?
29's crazy.
Yes,
We're getting
sir.
there. We're climbing.
Who would have thought?
Cory Trice Jr., like, share, subscribe, repost, retweet.
Tap
X
in.
on X. Do this shit.
The Des Bryant?
Bang!
The Des Bryant. Oh, God.
Come on.